the situation has been created by the Meiteis, where they have forgotten the age-old relationship and bonding that we have with them. And then we've been treated like not being part of this Manipur. For which I was saying, since they are creating such a situation, the demand for separate administration is something which they have to push forward. That was my opinions. I would clearly sense there's some sinister design behind the state media outlet, rather than first authenticate and verify what's being mistorted. We simply had a discussion on those reports, which is very unfortunate, and I would say this is devoid of ethical journalism without principle. Rather than killing each other, always in this present context of fighting, killings, burning and all, I think it's high time we must find some ways so that you lead a dignified, peaceful life, and we also lead a dignified and peaceful life.
I am with Kuki social activist Hejang Misao, who has issued a strong rejoinder to NDTV alleging a misrepresentation of his remarks that were made on a local YouTube channel in the Thado Kuki dialect. He has accused certain state media outlets of fueling ethnic tensions in Manipur and silencing democratic views. Today, we aim to clarify his views on the issues raised, challenges faced by the Kuki community, and his messages to both the communities and the media. So let us speak to him to understand this controversy and the broader context of the ethnic conflict in Manipur. Could you elaborate on the specific aspects of your interview that was distorted in the NDTV report?
Yeah, first of all, I would appreciate Hil Mojo for seeking certain clarification on my remarks during my interview with the local YouTubers, I should say, which I was like putting up the whole ground and harsh realities which is happening all because of the conflicts between the Kukis and the Meiteis, where I personally was also like affected by this conflict, and I have seen numbers of innocent people's, women, children's, bearing the brunt of this violence, plus numbers of reported cases of rapes, and then gender-based violence. Apart from that, thousands of families rendered homeless and livelihood being totally destroyed. Seeing all this, when the whole population of the Kuki, which are from Infal, are flushed out and then being pushed out forcefully, the Kukis having no choice, demanding separate administration. The question was my opinions. That was my personal opinion. He asked me, and I was saying like the situation has been created by the Meiteis, where they have forgotten the age-old relationship and bonding that we have with them, and then we've been treated like not being part of this Manipur. For which I was saying, since they are creating such a situation, the demand for separate administration is something which they have to push forward. That was my opinions. Unfortunate is like, in that interview, I was also clearly saying, which was spoken in English, the importance of public movement rather than this armed movement, because armed movement will take us nowhere. Even I was citing the public movements of the Bodo peoples in Assam, so that clearly also speaks volume that I was the one who is against violence in any form, but also trying to tell the message to the people that armed movement will take us nowhere, but it has to be public movement.
Do you think this misrepresentation was intentional? If so, what would have been their intention?
I would say this is, I mean, done with some sinister design, because nowhere in that discussion my organization was like reflected, and then nowhere in that discussion which tribe I belongs was reflected. But in that NDTV report, it was my organization comes into beings, and then the tribes, it was clearly said that I belong to any Kuki tribes. Why would the peoples bother whether I belong to any Kuki tribes or the Thado tribes or which tribes? So seeing that, I would clearly sense there's some sinister design behind. And I would also say this is very unfortunate because the state media outlet, rather than first authenticate and verify what is being misrepresented, they simply had a discussion on those reports, which is very unfortunate. And I would say this is devoid of ethical journalism without principle. So um, I would say, because of all this misrepresentation, distorted kind of things, the whole situation is now being perpetuated. I would also reach out to the state media uh, to also follow some ethical in their reporting, because the media house plays a very important roles in any kind of situation. They can like aggravate a situation, or they can also help in reducing any kinds of conflict. So for that reason, I would say state media has to be very careful in the way how they are also like making their reports.
You mentioned speaking in a personal capacity. How important is it for media outlets to respect the distinction between personal views and organizational statements?
Every profession has their principles. I'm from MSW background. I have my own principles. Social worker has principles. Same way, the journalism profession also must be having their principles and ethics. I think any journalist must respect the ethics and principles. Now, when my personal opinion is given, and even in that YouTube, it was clearly given social activists, which means that opinion, because I'm exercising my freedom of expression. I'm a citizen of India, and I have the fundamental rights. Freedom of expression is one of my rights, and I have the right to express my opinions. And when my personal opinion is being put up, I think there should be a clear distinction between personal opinions and the organizational opinion. So in no way there was any reflection of the organization's view in that discussion. An unfortunate part that that was just a local YouTube channel which is hardly known to others, and that was he was just uh, I mean, in a casual way, asking me my opinions on the whole situation, what is happening in Manipur. And when that personal opinion was like misinterpreted by some vested interest, that's why I was saying I was using the word sinister design. That if those misrepresentation or misinterpretation or distorted word without any verification, if the state media outlet has to use that to attack one person, I think that's very unfortunate. And it's high time we should also come back and start learning to speak the truth about what is happening in Manipur. I think that media house has a very big role in Manipur. Either you fuel the crisis or you diffuse the crisis. The media house has to play a big role. Just because you belong to one particular community, if your report is biased, then I think you should rethink again of your profession. If you can't follow the media ethics and principles, then high time you leave that profession and take some extreme approach and steps. I would reach out to the state media house.
What message would you send to both the communities, the Kuki and the Meitei community, and the media regarding this current ongoing conflict?
It is very unfortunate. It's been 1 and 9 months, and there's no sign of uh, limping back up normalcy in Manipur. What I have seen is like the poor people, children, women, aged, sick peoples are the one who suffer the most. And if you connect the dots, I think it's high time we have to also realize who is the game player here. I think so long as we fight among each other, this is something which I was already when the start of this violence clearly sent out this message. We must realize and come back to our sense. Unless we do that in this war, no one will be a winner. Both of us will be a loser. And I think in any conflicts, dialogue plays very important role. Without dialogue, there cannot be any solution. So it's high time we put down the radicalism in our mindsets and come back and then build our society, our peoples again. So if at all we cannot live together, we must live as a good neighbors rather than killing each other. Always in this present context of fighting, killings, burning, and all. I think it's high time we must find some ways so that you lead a dignified, peaceful life, and we also lead a dignified and peaceful life.